You read that right, boys, girls, and squirrels. It's about time I dropped a solo alternative measures guide. This guide will teach you by far the easiest and best way to solo alternative measures using the overpowered Wind Rain Clone strat, which I've modified slightly to be as easy as possible. Now normally I would rank this challenge around solo Oblivion difficulty, but Drifter and the strategy tanks the difficulty so hard it now ranks between MOS and Ultimate Champion. The perk you must use is Drifter, and the traits can really vary depending on how you plan to play the game, but typically my setup is reliable, professional, and either relentless or fearless. Also, one more quick thing I want to mention is that this guide won't be going over any of the early game or lab parts because the deep research parts are where the Wind Rain close strategy varies so much. Anyway, without further ado, let's start going over exactly how to do this. First off, you won't need to worry about Pavises very much. The most you may need is around 10, 2 for each breaker excluding the generator room breaker. This is because that is the main room you'll be camping in due to it breaking the enemy AI. Before starting, you should try to have around 10 but preferably more I4S and S44, and around like 5 Hemos. Try putting half of them in the generator room behind the fencing for extra safety, and the other half wherever you think you may be running near a lot. It is important to try to spare at least 3 of each stim for the Lumi fight at the end. The next very important thing to this run are the vulnerability mines. Craft them to the wall so that you do not open the doors around the center. This is because the enemies could take those paths to get to you faster. Do the same with the overcharged AGM here. Realistically, the AGM is the only gun needed, and only used for Lumi. You want to place the mines in places that enemies will be running through a lot, so at this 3-way intersection, you should place one, and the second goes wherever the heck you want. Now we're on to the game plan. Run to the generator room and hide. You want to wait until one of the breakers needs to be repaired, as to let as many enemies spawn as possible. The reason this strategy works is because there's a cap to how many there can be at once, and pairing that knowledge with the Drifter ability means you can group up every enemy and stay far away from them. This also means you want to kill as few enemies as possible, so more don't spawn in unwanted locations. This is very critical to the strategy working. Depending on which breaker needs repairs, there are 3 ways to respond. If the breaker in the elevator room breaks first, just let it stay broken until another one fails. When the second one fails, run out to repair the elevator. When enemies start approaching you, cloak. This will cause all the enemies to run to the cloaked position, letting you head over to the second breaker. Keep your ability active until you get to the breaker, then repair it. The second scenario is the best case, and it is a breaker in the generator room breaking. Just repair and keep sitting in the room. The final scenario is the most likely, and it is the one of the 4 room breakers fail. If this happens, run out near the elevator and wait for the first few enemies to appear. Cloak, then run out to the broken breaker to repair it. By this time, most of the enemies should be highlighted by the mines, so try to keep on the opposite end of the map as them. Occasionally, 1 or 2 may split off and meet you from the other side, and depending on who it is, you can kill them with an AA-12 or just ignore them and use a Hemo or I4S. If it's an elite snowman, you may kill them. But if it's a normal one, try to avoid their bullets or attacks until you get into the safe room. Remember, you want to kill as few enemies as possible to keep them bunched up and easily avoidable. Congrats, you completed one cycle. You may rest and eat rations in the safe room until another few breakers go offline. Then repeat the previous process to fix them. When the power fails, just repair it. It's in the safe room with you, so it should be really easy. But time will not progress if you do not fix it. Now is a good time to explain how exactly the breakers work. For each breaker that goes offline, the teleporter will slow down its repairs by 40%. At 2 breakers down, repairs will be 80% slower, and at 3 broken, repairs will freeze. This means if really necessary, you can wait while 2 breakers are down, although the game will move much slower. Now let's move on to the scenario where 2 breakers are down. If 2 room breakers are offline, cloak near the elevator and run to the first. This should give you enough time to run to the second and repair it. Then run to the safe room the long way around. Make sure all or most of the enemies stay coming at you from one direction. If it is the elevator breaker and a room breaker, then it depends on where the enemies are. If they are very far from you, then run to the elevator breaker and repair it. Once enemies approach, cloak and head to the room breaker and repair that. Then loop the enemies back into the safe room. If 3 or more breakers are down, repeat the above processes until they are fixed. You could repeat these cycles until the event where all breakers go down. When this happens, repairs will not advance at all until all 6 are repaired. One thing that is good to talk about now is a scenario that will likely happen during your run. If many enemies are grouped up at the entrance of the safe room, you will have to take damage. Try not to cloak in the safe room, run out with Hemo or FRS in use. Then cloak when the enemies start attacking. This is important to try to keep the enemies close, as stragglers will stop moving once you enter the safe room. Anyways, back to the breaker event. When all 6 break, you can head back to the safe room and repair its breaker. Try and take 2 IFRS and S44 because you don't want to be caught off guard while repairing all of them. Run to either the cafeteria or security breaker while cloaked and repair it. Wait for all of the enemies to head in that direction, then run to the opposite breaker and repair it. Try to keep as much space between you and the enemies as you can. Once both cafeteria and security breakers are repaired, depending on how far away the enemies are and how close your ability is to coming back, you can repair the other 2 room breakers. You can do that, or play it safe and head back to the safe room and let your ability regenerate. Remember that during this phase of the fight, you have unlimited time, so it's okay to play it super careful and head back to the safe room after each breaker repair. For the medbay and storage breakers, you can cloak and do the same process as the cafeteria and security breakers. Now all that is left is the elevator breaker. This one will always be tricky because you need the enemies to be far away to fix it. You want to cloak as far away as possible, then while cloaked, head to the breaker and fix it. After it's fixed, head to the safe room because the enemies will start heading towards you. This breaker is also the main reason that enemies will be grouped up in front of the safe room. And that concludes pretty much everything you'll need to know for the pre-Lumi fight. Keep repeating all of that until the scientist says that the rift is open. At this time, all the enemies will die automatically. Try to bring as many stims out of your safe room to the big square, then head to the big door and put on your armor, splint, aseptic, and ration up, cause Lumi's on her way. There are 2 main sprinklers that you'll be using to stun Lumi and make her vulnerable. Both the hallway sprinkler should be main priority. While she monologues, you may also open the doors to the middle rooms, as you can now use those sprinklers as well. You should have also brought a tier 4 fracture weapon down the lab with you in case Lumi gets too close. When that happens, smack her with it. When the cutscene ends, lure Lumi around to the left side and use that sprinkler to activate her first phase. When she's stunned, shoot her with the AGM overcharged, and turn and run when she stands back up. Make sure you have enough space, then you can turn around and shoot her some more. If Lumi ever gets too close and you feel uncomfortable, cloak. For some reason, Lumi can't see through it, so get some distance and start shooting. Utilize your infinite stamina once she starts getting close, and spam drop slides to outrun her. There's a lot of guides for how to beat Lumi, so I won't go over her tacticalities. When she goes down to half health, elite enemies will start to spawn. Make sure to take care of them, but as long as you have an I4S active, you should be okay. If you have over 150 long ammo, you should be able to kill Lumi with time to spare. The strategy works very well, and I will link a video down below where the strategy is used to perfection while not killing any of the enemies. You've fallen right into my trap. I would highly recommend watching the video before attempting the challenge, because sometimes a visual is a lot easier to learn from just me talking. And that's all we have. I really hope this guide helps you all with soloing alternative measures. Join my Discord and subscribe so I can get 1,000 octolinks. Other than that, have an amazing day. I'll see you guys in the next one.